Alright folks, just want to do a quick video on what I'm going to call internet tactical bushcraft experts. And before I get started, I'm actually going to pop a beverage because I'm probably going to need one to get through it. Now a little while back, I was watching some videos on YouTube and I came across a video where somebody who is an instructor was telling people to go out and train or practice in a manner which I think is unsafe and borderline negligent. And so I called the guy out on it. And one of the things I notice about these types of experts, and I'm not talking about the 15-year-old kid that lives in his basement, and I'm not talking about internet trolls or any of that kind of stuff. I'm talking about people who purport themselves to be experts, and that their methods or their words or their philosophies are infallible. What they say can't be wrong, and if you disagree, you're either a troll or you don't know what you're talking about or you're inexperienced, and you just need to listen to them because they're right. And it just doesn't, it doesn't sit well with me. And in this particular case, like I said, I think that the training was actually something that would hurt or damage somebody. And to people who truly are inexperienced and who are learning, they're like, hey, this guy's an expert, and I'm going to watch what he does, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mimic him. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not an expert. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just a guy, and I like to do things outside, and I like to play with knives, and I like to play with fire. But I'm just a regular guy like everybody else. I'm not an expert. So anyhow, during the course of this disagreement, and I've seen it play it out numerous times with not just myself, just with anybody, So you make a comment, say, hey, is this really a good idea? It doesn't seem like it makes a whole lot of sense. And then the first thing is that, well, clearly you're a troll and you're here to start trouble. And in life, human beings are fallible. They make mistakes. They misinterpret things. They misunderstand things. You try to get through the course of your day by making as little mistakes as possible, because we're all going to do it. We're all going to make them. And then where you learn and grow and develop as a human is by understanding what went wrong, what mistakes that you made, being open-minded and actually listening to people and not putting up a hand. So that's the first thing. You are a troublemaker. You're a pot stirrer because you disagree with me, right? And then the next thing is that they'll generally try to take a higher road. But I'm here for the benefit of all, and I'm trying to teach and help people learn and grow. So if you put down your trollish ways and believe my philosophy or the way that I think, then you're welcome to participate, and then maybe you can learn. Right? That's usually step 2. And then 3 is that because I'm not going to stoop to your level, right? And so really what they've done is they've established themselves as an expert. They've acting like a child, have name called or claimed that you have no experience, and they're just a troll to start trouble, right? And then this is my favorite part. It's when these tactical internet bushcraft experts will then claim to have some sort of established background, and there are certain logical fallacies that human beings partake in when they argue with people. My favorite one is that when they appeal to authority, right? And so what they say is that I know that my methods are sound, and I know that they work, and I know that they're correct because so-and-so does them. I learned them from so-and-so. And then the other thing, they're like, why? I read a book by Dave Canterbury, so he and I are experts, and unless you've read that book, you're not at the same level. And the other thing they'll do is that they'll attach their credentials to the credentials of others, right? They'll be like, well, I've worked with SEALs, I've worked with Green Berets, I've worked with the Russian Spetsnaz. And what's kind of funny about that is that I work in technology, I work with computers, and I've worked with all kinds of talented technologists across the globe, and I don't attach my credentials to theirs. Just because I've worked with somebody or just because I may have taught somebody something, said, hey, oh, here's a tip or trick that I use, and because I've done that, that doesn't make me an authority because I say, oh, I helped a police officer with something, and so now I'm better than the police officer. I train all policemen. Or, I read a book or I watched a video by, so-and-so expert, and that makes me an expert too. What is your background? Right? Because anybody with any background can have a good idea. Could have a fundamental understanding of things like, let's say, mechanics or physics or gravity or leverage or posture. And because they can understand those things, it doesn't mean that they are more expert than you, even though that you've trained with other people and you've read books by other people, and then and maybe you even teach or train people via internet and classroom settings. So yeah. And so I guess what I'll do is just kind of close by saying that, instead of addressing the topic at hand, right, whether it was a good idea or it was a bad idea, whether it was a safe idea or whether it was an unsafe idea, they'll derail the conversation, right? They'll throw out a red herring, or they'll construct some sort of fallacy in an argument that has nothing to do with the original point. Instead of saying, you know what, let's have a rational conversation around the action or activity that I showed or taught. It becomes, you're a troll, you're inexperienced, I've trained with other people who are experts, I've read books by other people who are experts, so I doubt your credentials. But if you want, you can learn from me if you behave yourself. And that has nothing to do with the original topic or point of the conversation. And to me, it just seems silly.